Sarah Boone's story is one that combines shock, violence, and a disturbing twist of irony. It's a case that became infamous not just for its brutal nature, but because the perpetrator herself filmed the crime, capturing every moment of terror as her victims suffocated to death. This is the story of Sarah Boone, her relationship with her boyfriend, and the murder that would change her life forever. In February of 2020, Boone, a 42-year-old woman from Winter Park, Florida, would find herself at the center of a horrifying crime that would unfold like a twisted tale straight out of a crime thriller. Her boyfriend, Jorge Torres, a 42-year-old man from Colombia, would become the victim of an unimaginable death, suffocating inside a suitcase. Boone and Torres had been in a rocky, on-and-off relationship for several years. Like many troubled relationships, theirs was marked by violence, jealousy, and a cycle of arguments and reconciliation. Boone was known to have a hot temper, and Torres was no stranger to conflict with her. But on that fateful night, something went horribly wrong. On February 23, 2020, Boone and Torres were at her apartment when they began drinking. According to Boone's account, the two were playing a game where they would hide inside a suitcase, with Torres jokingly locking himself in. It's a strange and seemingly harmless activity, but things quickly escalated. Boone claimed that Torres had gotten into the suitcase willingly, but after he struggled to get out, she decided to record the incident. This is where Boone's story takes a sinister turn. Instead of helping Torres, Boone filmed him while he was trapped inside the suitcase. In a series of chilling videos, Boone can be heard laughing and mocking Torres as he begged for help. But Boone didn't stop there. She continued recording as Torres's pleas for mercy grew desperate, and his struggle to escape became more frantic. The footage that Boone recorded was a horrifying testament to the depravity that can lurk behind closed doors. Eventually, Torres's cries stopped, and Boone finally opened the suitcase. But by then, it was too late. Jorge Torres was dead. He had suffocated inside the suitcase, unable to free himself. Boone would later claim that she was too drunk to remember exactly what happened, but the footage she recorded painted a different picture. A woman who seemed to find twisted amusement in the suffering of her boyfriend. After Torres's death, Boone went on to make a series of troubling statements. She initially called 911, but when the dispatcher arrived at the scene, she acted as though she was simply in shock. In one of her phone calls to authorities, she expressed disbelief over what had just occurred. She was heard saying that she didn't mean for it to happen and that Torres had gotten in the suitcase as a joke. But the evidence, especially the chilling videos, told a far darker story. Boone was arrested on February 24, 2020, and charged with second-degree murder. The police investigation uncovered disturbing details about the nature of her relationship with Torres. Investigators learned that Boone had been arrested previously for assaulting Torres. They also discovered messages and photos that revealed the volatile and abusive nature of their relationship. Boone had even sent text messages to Torres before the incident, threatening him and displaying signs of possessiveness and control. The case quickly gained national attention due to the disturbing nature of the crime and the fact that Boone had filmed her boyfriend's last moments. The media coverage of the case spread like wildfire, as people couldn't believe the callousness of Boone's actions. The idea that someone could commit such a heinous act and then document it, almost as if it were a twisted game, was both shocking and horrifying. As the investigation unfolded, Boone's defense was based on the argument that Torres had gotten into the suitcase willingly and that his death had been an accident. She claimed that she didn't mean for it to happen and that she was simply intoxicated. However, the evidence in the case told a different story. The videos she recorded showed a woman who had full awareness of what was happening, and her lack of remorse raised serious doubts about her claims. In addition to the video footage, investigators also found Boone's text messages to Torres, where she expressed both anger and jealousy toward him. These messages suggested that Boone was controlling and emotionally abusive. It appeared that Torres had been trapped in a toxic relationship, and his death was the tragic culmination of that abuse. The trial of Sarah Boone began in 2022, with the prosecution pushing for a first-degree murder conviction. They argued that Boone's actions were deliberate and that she had no intention of letting Torres out of the suitcase. They pointed to the fact that she filmed the entire event, which showed a clear lack of remorse or concern for his well-being. The defense, on the other hand, attempted to argue that Torres's death was a tragic seemingly innocent moments can be twisted into something horrifying. In the years since the murder, people have continued to debate the nature of Boone's crime. Some argue that she should have faced a harsher sentence, given the cruelty and callousness with which she treated her boyfriend. Others believe that the case highlights the dangers of toxic relationships, where control and manipulation can lead to devastating consequences. Sarah Boone's story is one of twisted love, jealousy, and violence. It is a case that serves as a tragic reminder of how easily relationships can turn toxic and how far some people are willing to go to maintain control. It is a chilling example of how the line between a joke and a nightmare can sometimes blur, with tragic results. Boone's conviction and the evidence presented in her trial left no doubt in the minds of many that she was responsible for the death of Jorge Torres. Yet, the story of Sarah Boone and the Suitcase murder continued to intrigue and haunt those who follow true crime, offering a dark and disturbing glimpse into the world of manipulation, abuse, and murder. This is a case that will remain in the true crime consciousness for years to come, with many questioning the nature of justice and what drives people to commit such horrific acts. As Sarah Boone serves her sentence, the story of the Suitcase murder